My kids, as well as multiple other people, lured me into conversations to argue. In the past, I didn't realize that someone was deliberately setting up psychological abuse, deliberately. So now I realize that it's a game. Okay, so my son says, I told him I love you and miss you. I love you and miss you, but I would really like to know the thing I've done wrong so I can do better. Lures me in. I just want love and compassion. I have a migraine. So the other day, the lady and the advocate was staging conflict. So she would say things repeatedly over like 4 or 5 times that I didn't say. So because I know the pattern, I wrote it down. I wrote it down on paper and I said, I've answered your question multiple times. This is the fifth time in writing. Can you look at the paper to see the answer? This is how my experiences are. Since the abuser is allowed to control all my environments, then he wants to make it torture for me trying to get any possibility to flee his abuse. That he's allowed to control them, all of them, including with family. So after the insanity with the advocate, my son wants to communicate. And I said, I love you and miss you. I really like to. He said, I love you and miss you. Really like to know. I don't know if you noticed that I was touching my phone and the backlight went off while I was touching it. Well, the other phone didn't work. The backlight wouldn't come on, period, and it never came back on. So I have to get a replacement phone. So I explained to him that I just want love and compassion. I have a migraine. We can discuss it. Can we discuss this at another time? I'm about to take some medication. Okay, I hope you feel better. Thank you. I appreciate that. And he said, You're welcome. So this is the book on boundaries I was telling you about. This is the video I sent him that he refuses to look at. Book on boundaries. And right here in the book, it says we need to be joined and held together by every supporting ligament. Basically, it's just saying there comes a time where you should reach out for a support system. And I have been desperately trying to do that for years. I know that is important, but I'm deprived of it. Churches won't be it. MHMR won't give me therapy. So, I mean, what do you do for a person like me where the government's control? Family won't be it. No one. If they hear someone on my phone giving me support, they interrupt it. Well, this is just a walk in my life and my experiences doing this video. Okay. He said, I just really want to know how I've abused you. You said I have multiple times, but you never told me. And then I stated hanging up in my face when I was telling you I was afraid for my life is psychologically abusive. When did I do that? And still, that is definitely not abuse. Hanging up on someone couldn't classify as abuse. Deflection on the nightmare I have been through and focuses while I meant focusing on petty things does not reflect compassion. So I sent him this since he did not appreciate what I had to say. I can't see it through this device, so I have to read it. It says, for example, you may attempt a therapy group. For example, you may attempt to discuss something that they said or did that hurt you, and they outright deny that they ever said it or did such a thing. They can't convince you that you are misinterpreted or remembered something incorrectly, or even that you caused your own hurt until you start to question your own truth. The biggest issue with gaslighting is how covert it is. It is most extreme scenarios, it can convince you that your partner is abusing you because of how much they love you or because of how terrible of a person you are. Only they can love you this much. Name calling is a pretty obvious, and it ends there, but that was the most important part I sent him. Send him this. When someone dismisses or rejects another person's feelings, thoughts, or behaviors, it's called emotional invalidation. This can make someone feel unimportant or irrational. It can also be a form of emotional abuse and can have damaging effects. And I also sent him this. Why do some people choose to cut off their friends for for an abusive or controlling partner? That's what I think is happening. I think my friends are being controlled as well as my children. This I can't see it through this other device, so this is the definition of an abusive and controlling person. They isolate a person. They plant doubts in their head about them. They cut them off from all, it's capitalized, right here, all outside contacts and family too. The end goal is to the end goal is to keep them from escaping and bonding them together. It's just the same thing as a kidnapper does. I feel kidnapped. I really do. In my life, I feel robbed and I feel like I'm kidnapped in these environments because there's no one to be found to help me. It's all controlled. So that is an excellent description of how it feels. It says, I suggest you stand by your friend. Don't give up. Check on your friend and let them know you are there for them. They will need you later. This is just a rough patch for them right now. So not only did my friends, family, and people in my environments would threaten me for psychological damage. When I'm using transit, they close the door on me. They start arguments. Restaurants burn my food. Cars speed up like at intersections, trying to startle me. Petty games in stores and restaurants. That's my life, and where I'm staying now. So I don't know if I read this. I'm wondering how I'm a narcissist or abusive or calling you out on a lie is not petty to me. I'm sorry, but it's not. So I'm being gaslit and framed. All of you guys hung up in my face when I was trying to tell you I was afraid, didn't return my calls, and denied all help help me flee the abuse. I've been isolated years and was not able to tell you I was targeted, but was told everything was in my fault and in my head. Remember when you guys were telling me I was mentally ill until I got the channel that you claim you don't want to see? I meant I get slandered in all my relationships. All people blame me for wanting love and compassion. Ever since I've been targeted, everything is my fault. Then I said I meant get slandered. We are not able to discuss I'm in danger, period. I still believe you need help. I have asked multiple times how I can help you stop the abuse. You said compassion. Now you're saying I didn't help you flee abuse when I was asked to help you flee abuse. Me not being able to communicate that all these years is abuse. Nothing I have said or done could convince you guys to stop arguing and blaming for wanting help and validation. But you just said the help was denied. I'm asking when. So he's playing mind games. He knows darn well I barely talk to him. When are when we are not able to discuss my life being in jeopardy because it's interrupted with arguments like it was with my advocates the other day. Can we talk about my life being in jeopardy and argue later? Why have you guys punished me with arguments for trying to report it? How many years has it been that I have seen you over 5 minutes? Not including your graduation, because after the ceremony, I was around you around 5 minutes. I, I don't want to talk about the problems. I want to talk about the solutions. It seems that you just want to complain, but I'm tired of you calling me a narcissist and abusive. He is, but he wasn't like this before I got targeted. Every time you talk about the stuff I want to help you solve the problem, it doesn't seem like you want it solved. All these years I have been met with arguments everywhere I turn. I can't tell you because I'm repeatedly blamed for being mistreated. I guess it's been over 6 years since you won't answer the question. How many rides have you given me or came to see me or simply came just to have lunch? What did the article say since you guys have not trusted my judgment since I've been targeted? I have given you zero rides and have not came to see you, nor have I had the funds to. But if I were to come get you, where would I take you? Where would we be safe? That has happened zero times since I have been targeted. He would answer it first. 6 plus years. Do you think rejecting to see my channel of serious things you guys blew off is giving validation or support? I gave you over $1,000 though, and other small loans. I told you I would pay for your trip multiple times. So then he gaslights and then blamed me again. The one video I watched was filled with lies. It was 2 hours of you trying to make me seem like a bad person. Why would I continue to watch more? And you never answer my questions on how to help. Where would I take you? And you say for 6 years, 6 years ago, I was 15. But it has never happened. How could how could I manipulate an active, unedited phone call? So he blames me for the phone call where he incriminated himself, got caught in lies, and was starting arguments. That's my fault. By slandering me the entire time, that's how. Where do you need to go to be out of harm's way? All my environments do this. So we can't concentrate on your mother's life being in jeopardy. We have to continue to deflect. I have asked multiple times, where do you want need to be taken to be safe? The question has yet to be answered. Why? I just have not had a support system, maybe given me genuine time without trying to start arguments. Where do you need to be taken to be safe? Going to have lunch or a video chat each time I ask you, you want to argue and dismiss what I'm asking for. Lunch or a video chat does not help you get away from danger. It puts me in it. I miss you and love you. Where do you need to be taken to be out of danger? Okay, I don't know what to do then. I don't want your life to be in danger. Where do you need to be taken to be out of danger? If your life is in danger, where are you? Then I shouldn't be where you are, but I'm trying to help you leave the place. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know if it's possible at this point. Then how are we denying you help if there is nothing we can do to help? Look, this country has denied me of my rights and corruption. I'm referring to the past when I was hung up on and scared and needed a ride then. Needed a ride from who? You never asked me for a ride. For a majority of the years, 6 years, I couldn't legally drive or didn't have a car. Like you said, it has been 6 years that I have seen you over 5 minutes, and I have only seen you 2 times around 5 minutes. Why do you need? Why do you keep blaming me for things other people have done? Just any kind of way to stage your argument, any way possible. Every call, no matter what I say and do, and beg, however I beg for my life, they argue. And then they have hung up when I wasn't recording. If your in life is in danger, I'm not blaming him. He's just a conspirator in all the abuse that I've experienced, along with the rest of all my other family members. Just about all. If your life is in danger, why do you continue to want me around you and in harm's way as well? Before that large loan, you had a car, and I told you I would pay for the trip. Before that time, I told you I would pay for your trip when I lived at Salvation Army homeless shelter, but I was blown off and didn't hear back from you in years. He's trying to gaslight and blame me for him ignoring me when I asked him, told him I'd give him money to see me multiple different times. Do you care more about having someone to talk to than your son's safety? No, more mind games and gaslighting. Scroll up. Did you pay for the trip? Did you ever try to plan a trip? More mind games. No, you did not, and that is not what I asked. I asked, when did I deny you a ride? I'm not being heard again. I said I didn't know what to do. I don't want to put your life in jeopardy, well, in danger. That should not be our only choices. Something needs to be done. You are being heard. You said that you have asked me for a ride in the past, and I said when. And if something needs to be done, what is that thing? Every suggestion I've given you don't care about for, so I'm asking you. This is fruitless. So people that block my path come out. They're deliberately trying to scam any kind of possibility to get me put out this place. I know it's control. All my environments are. That's why they keep scamming that I'm recording people. That's the avenue they're going to take. So they have people come out that are part of the abuse and then want to hold that against me. Like the person that came out and was just staring at me. They wanted me to record it and then set me up, but I didn't because it's a pattern. Okay, so I said this is fruitless because all you want to do is nitpick and start arguments. Nitpick and argue, then blame me for it. I don't want to argue. I want you to lie, and I want to know how to help you. You keep saying you want a video chat, but that will not be happening because I don't want my face on YouTube, on your YouTube channel. But they wouldn't do it in the past. Well, that's why I got to the YouTube channel because I wanted to expose how my environments were pathological liars, slandering me, and psychologically abusive. I gave you money several times that I'm not sure if you appreciate. I'm not being heard. It was impossible to fund the trip when you wouldn't return my calls in years. We talked a lot. You never tried. I experienced an awful lot of psychological abuse. Okay. You're not being honest and then blaming me for it. Did I give you multiple loans and money? I never said you didn't. So, common sense, if I've given you money for nothing and loans over $1,000. Why wouldn't I fund the trip? Because I'm giving you money for nothing. But I want to expose my family is blatantly lying on me. More people stopping and interruption. So I never said you didn't. But once again, you're trying to make me seem like the bad guy. Everyone seems like an abuser. If nothing. So I said, I don't understand all this mistreatment all over the place in mind games. So they've engaged in conversation, staged conflict, and argue. Okay, well, this conversation is going nowhere, so I'm just going to eat breakfast. I love you. And then I said, in healthy relationships, you're supposed to be able to communicate and explain needs and express damages of emotional abuse. It has been the same way ever since I've been targeted, enforcing prearranged problem patterns. I've had to endure not only you guys that enforce problems, leaving me isolated and alone when I need people most on blatant lies. If I have given you money, it shows a track record that you choose to ignore, enjoy your breakfast. What track record? You try to call me out on all these things to make me feel bad, but claim that I'm psychologically abuse you. But if I started calling you out on things you have done, you'd immediately have something you have to do or say in its past. So, so he's saying I have something to do, but he's leaving a conversation as he's done all these years I've been targeted. So I'm just trying to show how my life is. Can you just fathom someone experiencing this over and over? You get threatened or assaulted, and the police arrest you, take your freedom, cover for it, ward you off property. So I have had to normalize an immense amount of pain and torment. That's just because I told God, I said, I can't live in all this pain and all this fear. So I just had to normalize it and make all this insanity a part of my everyday life. When I cross streets, I have to look to make sure cars aren't parked, trying to startle me at intersections. That's my life. I have to, be at domestic violence organizations that are doing everything they can possible to cover for my abuser. Like, I don't know if you read the descriptions. We concentrate on an MHMR referral. We concentrate on food stamps that they've been scamming to keep me from, dental, vision, with the domestic violence advocate. That's what we focused on at my first session. And then she was telling me the legal representation. I had a brochure that she didn't know I had, so I went down the brochure. She claims that they didn't have prevention and other different things that she didn't go over with me. She said, no, that's for the abuser. I said, no, that's not what it says on this brochure. And then she pretends like she didn't know what that was. Prevention, rights, and different things of that sort, because doesn't happen for me, because they're covering for the psycho. It's just a video diary of my life.